So I'm Molly Swain. I'm here at Providence Mount St. Vincent in Seattle with my good friend and colleague, Kate Shoemaker.
Hello, Molly. Yes, we've known each other for
Probably more than 15 now.
Yeah, a very long time.
When did you first come to the Mount?
My grandmother moved into the Mount 2008. That's where I first was introduced to the Mount. And then I have a good friend whose kids were here in the ILC. So I learned about the Mount through my grandmother and then through my friend as well.
And what was that like for you coming to visit your grandmother here?
She had an apartment on the 5th floor, so she had a beautiful view of Seattle and Space Needle, and so I think she really loved that, and she was very happy here. She had moved out of her condo because she felt like she needed more assistance. I visited her often. I brought my son when he was young. He loved coming here. When he was 6 or something, he told me he wanted to move into the Mount. And so...
Why do you think? What did he like about it?
He loved seeing my grandmother, his great-grandmother, and he loved just spending time with her. It was one-on-one, because I would just kind of sit back and he just chatted with her, and she was so very engaged. At 94, she had hearing issues and vision issues, but her mind was perfect. I think it was nice for her in her own apartment where she could hear better, she could see, and then she could just be totally focused on me and on him.
Sounds like it gave her sense of independence and confidence because she was familiar with her surroundings and had a little more support.
Yes, definitely. She was a lifelong resident of West Seattle, so it was very important to her to continue to live in West Seattle. I guess she moved here when she was 7, so that was in 1920. So she knew a lot of people here, and she obviously knew of the Mount.
Was it important for your mom also that her mother had a place to be, and did she come and visit a lot?
She did. My grandmother had 4 children, and they all came to visit. And my mother lived in West Seattle at the time, so she was able to come, and it was easy for her. It was very nice for everybody to know that my grandmother was taken care of. It gave all of us the confidence that the care she needed was there.
And it seemed like right away you, perhaps through your friend Maggie, who also at the time served on our foundation board of directors, got involved in attending some of our fundraising events, the Legacy Luncheon and Black Tie Bingo. How was your entry into supporting this community? What made you step forward and say, yeah, I'd like to help where I can?
It was definitely because of my grandmother, and she was living here, and I think the first thing I did was to go to Black Tie Bingo, and when it was at a golf course, I can't remember, Fairwood or Rainier. Okay.
Golf.
We went with Maggie, and I felt like it was important to support my grandmother and the place that she lived in. And sometimes she would tell me things about living here, you know, the good and challenges she might have had. So I just wanted to be a part of any solutions, and I felt like I could be a voice for her too.
And then the time came that Maggie introduced you and I, and we had a conversation about getting involved with the board.
15 years ago.
Okay. Of course, thank you so much for the contributions and the support, and then what became a leadership role on the foundation board of directors as you moved through lots of different roles and then ultimately became president of the board. Was that meaningful for you to fulfill some of that business side of your life?
Yeah, it was, of course, meaningful. And to me, and always, even when my grandmother passed, it was important for me to stay involved because of the charity care and because of the understanding and of so many people who really do outlive their resources and come here and depend on the Mount and depend on the services. My grandmother was lucky enough to continue to have resources, but the idea that anybody would be kicked out of their residence when they're in their 90s is just heartbreaking to me. So I just felt so important to continue working to raise money. So that was always in my mind. And I just found the people on the board to be so loving and supportive. I came to the meetings and just felt like I was always welcome, and I always connected with the people, and I just felt such a nice feeling when I came here.
It really is extraordinarily important for those who live here. More than 60% of our long-term care residents have outlived their financial resources, and our promise to continue to care for them and that they should never have to fear having to leave because of financial resources, that would not be possible without this foundation for Providence Mount St. Vincent. And truly, we thank you with such a full heart. And it's been a pleasure working with you all of these years. Together, we've accomplished a lot with an average of more than $1 million in funding every year. That's impressive.
I've gotten more than I've given. I'm certain of that.
Thank you, Kate.
And thank you.